Hey folks, how are things going? It's finally May 9th, which means we can finally see the release of Flavia. How insanely beautiful! And of course, the animals are just vibing around her. And here we are in our first fight. These, I guess, are the grass tiles. Flower field increasing healing by 15%. At the start of battle, turns all tiles within 2 tiles of the character into a flower field, lasting for 2 turns. Summons 1 Torniflora, up to 1 plant body is allowed at a time. This is maybe a little bit unfortunate. I would have loved if she was able to summon a few more of these. Not to mention, only having 1 summon might limit her a little bit. The plant body inherits 100% basic attack and defense and 120% basic HP from the character. Flavia is present, the plant body has the attack and defense increased by 25%. That's nice. Allies on the flower field gain damage up 2 and damage reduction 2, and the plants receive double the effects from damage and damage reduction. Okay, 40% damage up, 40% damage reduction just for existing on a flower field. And the flower field should basically be spammable. Enemies on the flower field take 20% more damage when attacked by Flavia or the plant body. Sadly, this is not a team-wide debuff. 100% basic attack, plus 25 attack and defense, plus damage up 4, maybe the plants can actually dish out some decent damage. As for Flavia herself, basic 90% magic attack turns the target tile into a flower field for 2 turns. Reaction: when any ally within 3 tiles receives a single target attack, she can heal for 20% magic attack and turn their tile into a flower field for 2 turns, up to twice per round. 20% magic attack feels a bit small, but at the same time, she can heal twice after someone takes damage. Nature's Protection, 4 mana cost, 70% AoE damage to all enemies within 3 tiles of the character and inflicts damage down 2. Turns the field into flower field. If the target was on a flower field, additionally gets movement -2. All the effects last for 2 turns, and then commands the plant body to use the same attack 1 time. I was going to say potentially 140% attack damage, but that's not it. Because again, 70% is just from her. The plant body is going to inflict 70% with the buffed attack, an extra 25% magic attack for the plant body, and the damage up 4. But wait, she turns the tiles into a flower field, and then the plant body does the attack. When Flavia exists, plant body has the attack and defense increased by 8% and takes 40% less damage. And this is on top of the damage reduction that they have from being on the flower field. At the end of the turn, turns all tiles within 2 tiles of the character into a flower field for 2 turns and teleports the plant body to the character's side. This one helps the plants tank a little bit, but I don't know how much I like it, because it forces the plant to teleport, and sometimes you may want to control the plant's position with some other skill. Lastly, at the end of the turn, if on a flower field, recovers 20% HP and 2 energy for the character and the plant body, and gain 2 random level 2 buffs for 2 turns. At the end of the turn, if not on a flower field, turns the tile under the character and plant body into a flower field. We are not seeing this skill switch though, but this should deal some pretty decent AoE damage. 4k and 6k from the plant body. Yeah, we were expecting higher damage from the plant itself. That's the move and that's the heal. Oh, you actually control the Torniflora. 6000 magic attack, Jesus. Forces frontal attacks and cannot move. When Flavia takes fatal damage, sacrifices 80% of the character HP to grant her resolve, recovering 5% HP upon the trigger. The character then becomes stunned for 1 turn, can only be triggered up to 1 time. Sadly, this is also a 1 time per battle, and without the ability to resummon your plant buddies, I don't know. Basic attack is basically the same, 80% magic damage instead of 90, but it has a way longer range, 1 to 4. Reaction skill: when within 2 tiles of Flavia, damage taken -30%, on top of the 40%, on top of the damage reduction 4. And this thing also gets more HP, it's up to 12,000. Maybe the plants are not as squishy as I was expecting them to be. When triggered, recovers 1 HP and deals 50% AoE damage to all enemies within 2 tiles, then eliminates after attacking. It explodes, Here we have Bloom, single target attack, 110% damage. If the target is on a flower field, another 20% magic damage too. And again, 4 tiles range. And lastly, Migration, teleports to an empty tile within 4 tiles of the character. Thankfully it's instant, but it's also on a 2-turn cooldown. Let's see, none of these is on a flower field, let's just attack the first one. 11,000. Okay, the damage doesn't look bad either.
何かお手伝いできることはある？ダメよ。
Let's keep spreading our tiles. I would love to see this thing take damage now. Yeah, that took basically nothing. And there's the explosion. I don't know, a solo demo didn't really seem that great, because they show you the character but they only show the amount of damage that she was able to deal. And after Astral, being impressed by damage isn't really a thing anymore. So what else is there? This is something we haven't seen. This lets her buff people or the plant, but if she buffs the plant, she can turn the plant into 3 different forms. She buffs attack 2 and crit 2, which again, single target, not that great. If the target is the summon, transforms into a Torniflora and changes its bloom into Glorious Bloom for 3 turns, so improving the skills of the plant body as well. Nourish, single target heal, magic defense up, and the plant body turns into a Summiflora, which we cannot see here sadly. Shelter, physical shield. Physical shield is actually quite nice. Plus physical defense, and the plant body turns into a Luniflora. Vital Seeds summons 1 Torniflora nearby, can only be used 1 time per battle. And after the second summon, she should have access again to Plant Sacrifice, the 80% HP sacrifice for the plant resolve. Honestly, she looks extremely versatile, but I don't like the fact that the buffs are single target. Basically, she fights alongside her plant and her plant only giving the other allies a damage up to basically. What else is there that we didn't see? Sprout selects an empty tile, 60% magic damage to all enemies within 2 tiles, turn everything into a flower field, and then teleports the plant body to that tile. Okay, I think I might like this one more than the large AoE, mostly because it lets you relocate the plant body by yourself, especially if you need to send the plant body to defend an ally. Let's see what her Astral imprint does. When casting single target support skill on allies, grants 1 random level 2 buff for 3 turns. If the target is a summoned character, additionally grants life fondness for 3 turns. Can inflict life fondness up to 1 time per turn, basically just for her own plant. At level 2, another 30% attack. And life fondness is going to stack with the attack 2 from the basic buffs. Hell, even life fondness 1 is still a 20% attack boost. On top of everything, I think she might actually want her weapon, and she's only the 2nd character released right now. So if we have to wait for her weapon to be available in the Astral Forge, we're going to have to wait for Team Meteor release. After the Team Meteor release, we're going to get a 3rd Astral Forge option here, which is going to have the weapons for Astral, Flavia, and Team Meteor. She seems a bit like a jack of all trades, but master of none. She looks very versatile. She brings some really nice buffs, but they're single target. She brings plenty of healing, but there's a lot of other better healers out there. Damage up, damage reduction on the flower fields might help a lot, but at the same time, it's just a buff, isn't it? And there's a lot of other characters which come with the same damage up buff, and these do not stack. This only stacks for the plants due to her trait. I think it mostly revolves around Vital Force, and this is something we didn't get to try, because Torniflora, yeah, it's okay, 6k, 11k damage, that's fine, but if you're running a proper fight, are you really going to spend single target buffs on her plant rather than on a proper damage dealer? I don't think so. So Torniflora is going to get at most some AoE buffs. If you run SP Safia, she has the co-attack and co-defense, which go on top of the basic attack buff, but that's basically all you can count on. When it comes to healing, I think Coco still does a better job. Coco also cleanses debuffs, which is really nice, lowers the SP consumption, and gives you a 1-turn cooldown reduction. If you want a proper support, I still think Coco might be 1 tier up. If you want a proper buffer, well, there's Tair, there's Safia, so she has competition there. All she really brings is an extra body to the field. If you don't want to waste pools on the gacha for her weapon for a 20% attack buff just for her plant, she has 2 nice AoEs. She might go for a diffusing prism trying for damage, but if you want a more supportive option, Reorganize Cube, maybe if you want her to heal a bit more, an extra clear, but again, she needs to target your allies in order for this clear to trigger. And I'm afraid she's only really going to target allies with the single target buff, so Starry Sky instead, 10% HP buff, and the plant should be able to inherit this one, since she summons the plant at the battle start, and then another 6% magic attack based on the HP. For the accessory, since the plant inherits her stats, I think maybe another 10% HP from a Crystal Burst armor, immune to disruption and extra magic defense, but I'm afraid everything else doesn't really translate to the little plant. Physical and magic attack, but then again, I really don't know about trying to push that plant to deal damage, or some extra healing and no heal block with the cooling powder. This might be a little bit trolly. She applies grass fields by herself. She can potentially burn those very same grass fields. Very lore accurate, but at the same time, there are already other characters who might make a better use of this roaring flint. Shield of Justice, attack and defense 6% when having a physical shield, and she keeps shielding herself. This might not be a bad call either, but this is more of a premium weapon. You have to be buying some of the Astral Forges to get these. When it comes to Tarot's, Force of Fortune, even though it's RNG, might actually help a lot, especially since this one can grant extra energy recovery and one of her skills costs 4. These skills do not get transferred to the plant, but again, the plant already has a crap ton of damage reduction by itself. Maybe, just maybe, if you want to go all out, Fool's Naivety for another 20% HP and the potential 10% more from the passives. That's 20, that's 30% HP, 999 from the Tarot alone. She should be on around 4000 magic attack and almost 9000 HP once she gets into battle. I think this should also go a little bit higher thanks to the talents, which I haven't leveled up all that much. Now for the important character, the plant friend. This goes up to 15% at 2 star and 3 star, 25% at 4 stars. The stat increase at 4 stars might be the first milestone you might want to reach, but then again, 4 stars takes a while. HP 120% of her base one, so the plant should be at a 10,000 HP. Let's say she's just running with Tair, SP Safia and Gloria. What we're seeing here is a 10% damage boost between 1 and 2 star, a 6% damage boost between 2 and 3 star, a 4% damage boost between 3 and 4 star, and then a 20% damage boost between 4 and 5 stars. Honestly, I still think the extra stat gains from 4 stars is going to be the sweet spot if you don't care about her dealing damage, but if you want damage, it's gonna have to be 5 stars. So we come to the last question. Should you pull for her? I would still put her a notch below Coco when it comes to buffing and tanking, even though the plant, the double resolve, the fact that she can resummon that plant might actually help a lot against some hard mode stages. So if you have Coco, if you have Tair, if you have SP Safia, I'm afraid Flavia is going to be a bit of an easy skip. Still, despite the fact that I seem to be below my expectations already, I am so weak to pretty women that you can't even imagine it. I still feel like trying my luck here. The star? Let's go with the star. That's an upgrade. I might go 3 for 3. I might seriously go 3 for 3. Finally! He's not as good as, what's his name? Xavier, but at least he can help just by having a Scrolls of Auguste on him. Now show me a cute witch. Please show me a cute witch. Not this one. The blonde one. Well, I guess you can't win them all. And we just got out of a double legendary. There's no way this is going to be a second one. Alright then, I guess that's gonna be it for me for the moment. As always, thanks a lot for watching, and see you guys around soon. Ciao!